So we're here today with Yuan in Gamers World. What did you do today?
Got first place with ice barriers. So
who would believe it? Okay, let's kick it off in style, and we'll go to matchups and shoutouts at the end.
Sure.
Nice. Right. So we'll start off with the main engine, I guess.
Sure. So I suppose the main engine will be tree revealers.
Okay.
It's your starter, and it's also pretty handy when into the graveyard because if you want to activate any ice barrier monsters and you need to pitch a card, you could banish her from the graveyard instead. Nice. It's pretty handy to save on your hand resources.
Nice.
And she is really good. You always play tree of, no questions asked. The second, I played two speakers. Again, this is more of an extender, so if you have an ice barrier monster, you could special summon itself, and that'll make Bahamut Shark, and you could go into Toad. You could banish itself from the graveyard to special.
And they're all level 4s, are they?
Yeah. So you could banish itself from the graveyard to special summon a token. This will facilitate your draw four with Coral Dragon and Ravenous Crocosaurus.
Oh yeah.
So the ratio, I like to play it at 2, but you could play it at 3 if you want. Side deck, you could cut it out and leave it at 1, but it's more of it depends on the situation. So yeah, 2. So 2 Triumphs, we have Mirror Mage of the Ice Barrier, really good.
That one looks like it has no. Oh no, there you go.
Yeah, so
it looked like it had no name for a second.
Yeah, secret rares, but yeah. So this is one of the new supports, really absolutely busted. So especially it's used in Sprite to go into totally awesome. But
this is the card.
Yeah, okay. This is the one.
Sorry,
but
I'm really out of the game.
No, you're fine.
I've seen like this, people call it Ice Barrier Sprite. And
yeah.
I was like, what the hell is it? Okay,
but the name is pretty deceptive. It's not really Ice Barrier. It's just Sprite with an extra engine, and that's it. So really handy because when it gets sent to the graveyard, you can search for any Ice Barrier cards from you can add it from grave, add it from the banish zone, or add it from deck. So really handy. Nice. Brilliant in Ice Barrier. And also it's a you can activate an effect where you could tribute in any effect monster, and you can summon up to 3 tokens. So Ice Barrier tokens. So really, it's good in Sprite, but absolutely busted in Ice Barrier.
And you have your Ice Barrier tokens.
Yep, all 3 of them.
3 of them ready to go.
Yeah. So the ratio you could play 2 of, but I recommend 3 just because of how good it is. Cool. Your extenders will be Georgius. Again, really good extender. So he basically, you could similar to Speaker, if you control another Ice Barrier monster, you could special summon itself. Also, really good effect is the Monster Reborn. So if it gets special summoned or normal summoned, you can special summon an Ice Barrier monster below level 5, I believe, or any below. You can special summon it. So also it has a really busted floating effect, so it's an Abyss Dweller for monsters while it's on the field. So it's
Abyss Dweller is also for monsters, though.
Yeah. Well, no, Abyss Dweller is for all.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So, but no, it's grand, but really good. So
that's really solid.
Just also 2,000 attack, so pretty big for a tuner as well,
especially for a free special. Right?
Oh, it is, and my other 2 extenders will be Hexa. So small little guy. Basically, you more or less always special him out with either Revealer or Georgius. So a small little tuner. So while it's on the field with another Ice Barrier monster, all your opponent's monster loses 500 attack and defense.
That's handy.
And its main effect is basically Foolish Burial, an Ice Barrier monster that's level 3 or below. So really handy. So for also good for synchro, just for generic synchro plays.
Yeah.
Now for some of the more so these are just the one-offs. Realistically, you have Warlock of the Ice Barrier. That is your anti-spell fragrance when there's another Ice Barrier monster. So look, you know what it does. General Raiho, basically the MVP of the deck. So you summon him out with Lancia. So basically what he does is every time your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, and if they want to resolve that effect, they have to discard a card. If they don't, the effect doesn't resolve. So basically your opponent every time when your opponent goes in,
cards,
when they go into their combos, they keep on discarding cards, and once they keep on playing, they just they run out of hand resources.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, General Wayne, a one-off extender. So if he's more or less a going second card, but you can also special summon him out with Georgius as well from your hand or from your grave. So when he special summons, you can search out any Ice Barrier spell or trap. And he also has a passive effect where all your opponent's spell card and trap card that goes from the field are banished instead. So it is quite annoying for a lot of decks as well. It's not really
I was playing Voiceless Voice today.
Yeah.
This would have wrecked my wrecked my shit.
But but overall he's good for a body and good for a searcher.
Nice.
So these are your main Ice Barrier monsters. Okay. I will just
it'll take some time to do some tidying.
yeah. But I'll just scoop them away.
Or that.
Yeah, or
sure.
that. So now for your water engines in general, you have Ice Age Jameer Azurine. This is it's pretty much mandatory you play Trios. So it's a level 7 tuner. You discard any water monster in your deck, special summons itself, and special summons a level 3 ice water token. So instant level 10
synchro.
Yeah, instant level 10 synchro. And you could discard any water monster or itself as well. So if you have 2 elves, that's also great. And
awesome.
it also saves your normal summon, which is quite important in Ice Barrier.
Yeah,
so you're
it's like long one.
Yeah, basically.
It's crazy.
And you have one smart swap frog. I don't have the other. I need to get 2 more swap frogs. So
oh really? That's the reason you're paying more.
Yeah, basically. Okay, but so in its place, it's Fishboard Harpooner. Not as good as swap frog, but still pretty handy. So what this does is you reveal this and one water monster, and you can discard one and special summon the other. So it is quite handy. So if let's just say you have Speaker and you really need that normal summon, you could pitch itself to special summon the Speaker and the revealer, and you still have your normal summon, which is pretty handy. It's also handy as well if you have this and General Raiho in hand, because what you could do is you could pitch itself and special summon a Raiho, so free Raiho on the field. So
nice.
Yeah, so these are your water engines, but realistically I would if I get the 2 swap frogs, I would swap them out and just and have a place of swap frogs. Swap frogs, look, you know what
it would not be handy just because I'm just noticing they're level 4, like that's all.
No, because it's just not it's going first, it's not that great, because you're better off using swap frog because it's just a better combo piece. Swap frog, you can Foolish Burial the Mirror Mage, and Mirror Mage could search you any Ice Barrier cards from anywhere. So this is just better. Also, you could hard make Toad with this as well. So
that plus the level 2.
Yeah. So this is what facilitates the totally awesome in Sprite, but in Ice Barrier it's even better because you could. So now for the spell cards, not many to be honest. So just the spells. So I'll play three medallions, 1 freezing chains, and 1 wins over the Ice Barrier. Medallion, just again mandatory. You have to play 3 elves.
It's just a Rhoda.
Yeah, Rhoda.
And it's not once per turn.
No, it is not once. So basically. No, so basically, if you draw in the tree, it's basically any tree.
It's always live. Like,
it's always live.
It's rolled, but like whatever.
So Freezing Chains, this is a monster reborn. It's mostly just a monster reborn for your level 4 or below Ice Barrier.
Is this like the Salaman Grey card?
Yeah, something similar to that, but Monster Reborn's a level 4 or below Ice Barrier monster. It also has a protective effect, but you don't really see it coming up a lot. So basically, if you control 3 or more Ice Barrier monster, all your Ice Barrier monsters are protected by the activated effects of extra deck monsters. Cool. So it's weird little protection. It doesn't really come up a lot, but it's nice that it's there. Decks, we have Wins Over the Ice Barrier. Really a pretty busted card. So what this does is you could tribute any Ice Barrier monsters on the field, and you could special summon level 4 or below Ice Barrier monster from your deck. So if you have 3 Ice Barrier tokens, you could tribute those 3 Ice Barrier tokens and just summon 3 Ice Barrier monsters from your deck. So really,
so why is it a one-off?
It's a one-off because you don't really see it. You don't really you don't really. Well, first of all, you could just search for it, like
sure.
with General Wayne and with your mirror mage. So it's not a big. So you could always see
one
it.
is fine, okay.
And second of all, it also has a very good recursion effect. So if it's in a graveyard, not the turn that you sent it, but you could banish itself and add any ice barrier monster from your grave or from your banish zone and add it to your hand. So very, very handy for adding back a revealer if you're short on if you don't really have the handy cards that you need in your hand. And just for the one trap, one ice barrier. So good battle. It's a good battle trap, but so pretty handy.
It's so shiny. The
Yeah.
camera's having a really hard time picking it up.
Yeah. But it's you could use it as a good battle trap, but also what its main purpose is basically when it gets sent to the graveyard. So usually what you do is you send it to the graveyard with revealer. It could banish itself from the grave and foolish burial any level 5 or higher water monster, and then you can add any water monster from your graveyard back into your hand. So really good for recycling and just
That's like a roundabout way of doing draw or getting around draw.
Yeah, exactly. So you could. So the main card I will search out for this is usually so if my graveyard is filled. If it's filled with a lot of water monster, I can basically search for anything from the graveyard. But
just add it back.
Yeah, and add it back. But if I don't have much, what I would usually add would be the one Ran Azurine, because it's just a one card synchro 10.
Yeah.
So or you could use it for my my Georgius, again, Monster Reborn, special summons, extender. So very versatile. Very versatile. Now for
non-engine.
now for just the complete non-engine. So we have hand traps really. So Tree Ash Blossom.
Zip trees, I think.
Yeah, tree imperms
all
and
different rarities.
Yep,
Oh my God.
tree Juan Lockbird. So
not only different rarities, but different
different
artworks.
Yeah, so these are your hand trap. Imperm, look, it's good going first, going second. Ash Blossom, very versatile. Drawn Lockbird just locks.
It's impactful.
Yeah, it's very impactful. So just it's fairly lean, and what I would.
How many cards are you playing in general?
I play 40 in the main deck.
Oh, you're
so
doing 40, okay.
Yeah, so trying to get as much consistency as possible. So next for my just for my final, I suppose, board breaker.
The board breakies.
I wouldn't really.
Right?
Yeah, I suppose truly just non-engine. So you have one call by the grave. Does it? Self-explanatory.
It's for shifter, right?
Yeah, shifter or any.
Maybe draw.
Yeah, shifter, draw, Ash Blossom, or if the Ash Blossom is something that will stop your extension, it is handy to have. One triple tactics talent and
one tactics gang
and one Gamma Seal the Kaiju. So Gamma Seal is searchable with ice barrier. So you send it. So you pitch the ice barrier, or it gets into the grave, and you could just add the kaiju back into your hand. So
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and so that's your that's the main deck. 40, as much consistency as possible. You could change some of the ratios with the speakers and the Waynes. Speakers and the Georgius and the Mirror Mage, but overall it's a pretty solid. It's a pretty solid build. And now for the extra deck. Cool. We have so for the links anyways, we have one Salamangreat Almirage, one Morentis Core Anemone, and one World Sea Dragons Atlantis. So for Salamangreat Almirage, it's not really a I might actually cut it out, but it's pretty much more of your desperate plays.
Okay.
So let's just say you don't have a really good hand, but you manage to have, say, Mirror Mage in your hand. What you do is you normal summon Mirror Mage, and then you link it off into Salamangreat Almirage. Then Mirror Mage could search you any Ice Barrier card, and what you search the Freezing Chain, and Freezing Chain Monster Reborn back to Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage will tribute this off to summon three Ice Barrier tokens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Then what you do is you synchro summon into a Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon then synchros off with the 2 tokens to go into Dragite, which I'll reveal. And you could get 1 draw from the Coral Dragon. So pretty handy for it's pretty handy.
So it could get you back into the game.
Yeah, you could, but I wouldn't recommend. But it's kind of in a desperate situation, so
But I think that's okay to keep.
It's good to have. It's good to have, but so worst case scenario, more or less. Morentis,
are they Are they spellcasters?
Yeah, they're spellcasters.
So you could maybe try Artemis. Would Artemis help?
No, sorry.
Worse?
Mirror Mage would be an aqua monster. So
okay.
yeah. So wouldn't be the really.
So it's Almirage, or
yeah,
nothing,
Almirage. It's more or less Almirage. And for the Link monsters, you have Marensis, Coral, Anemone. I play one, but I've seen deck profiles where you can play two, and you're not wrong for playing two. So just really handy extender. So you're playing all water decks.
Yeah.
So you'll easily make into this. What you could do is you could go into the Drag Eye combo that I was talking about, or you can or you could link this off and Monster Reborn back a low level water monster, low attack water monster, and you could go into World Sea Dragons Atlantis.
Nice.
And with Coral Anemone, after you activate the effect, you're locked into water. So what you could go into World Sea Dragons Atlantis and just wipe the board. All your opponent's monsters are banished, but yours all come back. So
nice.
So just good board. So just good board wipe in general.
Cool.
So now for XZs, totally awesome and Bahamut Shark. So pretty self-explanatory.
It's pretty on board.
Yeah. So totally awesome and Bahamut Shark. So you could go into a combo. You could go into a combo where you could summon Toad on the 5th summon, so that protects you from the Nibiru,
nice.
and you could combo off from. But you could also hard make Toad with Mirror Mage and Freezing Chains. So
nice.
Now for I suppose I'll just move these aside. Now for the synchros.
Synchro package.
So basically your bread and butter. You have one Crocosaurus
for the draw
for the draw 4s,
Yeah.
and it's also pretty handy to. It's also pretty handy to pop quick effect to pop one on the field. So I don't use it often, but it is handy if the situation calls for it, because the cost is pretty expensive because you have to, discard 2 cards. So pretty pricey. So you use it if the situation calls for it, you could use it.
Nice.
So what you do is your main one Trishula, 0 Dragon of the Ice Barrier, 1 regular Trishula. So
banish 3 from field, banish 3 from 1 from hand.
Yeah. So you don't usually summon them out the proper way. What you do, what you usually do is you summon them out with land. So I play 2
Lancia, yeah.
Well, 2 Lancia. So basically, if your opponent removes Lancia in any way other than bounce or banish face down, you could synchro. You could basically special summon one of these guys from the extra deck, and it counts as a proper synchro summon.
So you just get to banish for free.
Yeah, basically.
That's
but
nice.
you do have to be careful because both of these guys, their effects are when, so you could miss timing.
Okay.
But the funny special thing with the 0 Dragon with Ice Barrier, so usually if you're
That's a new card. Why is that a win still?
It's, I don't know.
That's
like,
so weird.
Yeah, but, it's unfortunately, but it is still handy. So if your opponent destroys this card, what you could do is when he leaves the field, you could special summon out the regular Trishula. Now, it doesn't count as a synchro summon, but what it does is it forbidden droplets your opponent's entire board. So, and it's permanent as well. So all their monsters, their attacks are halved permanently, and all their effects are negated permanently.
Nice.
So your Brionic, so it's just a bounce.
Nice.
Pretty once per turn, but also pretty handy because as long as you have revealers in the grave, and as long as you have resources in hand, you can bounce as many cards as you want from your opponent. So
discard part,
so this is pretty handy because let's just say you're up against Ubel or a monster that can be destroyed by battle or a card effect, so you just bounce it and just attack for game, or just a good way for removing monsters in general. So your other synchro monsters would be Coral Dragon, pretty. This is
draw 4 with this.
Yeah. So draw 4 or draw 1 if you're using it with Dragite, and it's also one other effect is you could discard a card and pop a card on the field.
Yeah,
so,
it's very similar to Brionic. Yeah, it's like because Brionic used to be banned for a long time, so this is like baby Brionic.
Yeah, it is handy because let's just say you have Coral Dragon, and before you synchro it off as a material, and if your opponent has an annoying card, you could pitch a card and just pop it, if you will. So handy. So it's mostly for the draw, but the pop does occasionally come up as well. So your other 2 level 10s are your Icy Shamir Azurine and your Cheng-Ying. So Shamir Azurine, really pretty handy. So what she does is
stops you can't banish.
Yeah, basically. So protects all your monsters from being banished or destroyed by card effects. Yeah, for the turn. And also, if you activate the effect in response to your opponent's any card effect, you could banish that card. So free banish from either the graveyard or from the field. So really, really good handy.
Nice.
Also, it has recursions as well. So if your opponent banishes a card, you could bring this back from the graveyard. So
nice.
Yeah,
He's just a big boy.
Yeah, he's just a big boy, and also
very hard to get rid of.
Yeah, really hard to get rid of. But also, what happens is it actually combos off with your own ice barrier cards as well, because you do banish. For
then you get to banish nice.
So banish for hand or field.
That's
So it's a pretty solid synchro package, but there are other cards that you could run, like say White Aura Whale, but but overall I wouldn't really recommend it, because this is a medium range deck, so you want to have versatility and recoverability as well.
Yeah.
So now for the side deck, we have the board breakers. So we have Tree, Dark Ruler No More.
All different rarities again.
Yeah. Tree, Forbidden Droplets.
Also different rarities again.
One Harpy's
One
Feather.
ulti. Feather Duster, baby.
Yeah, so Dark Ruler, look, pretty self-explanatory.
They're very self-explanatory.
Yeah, but Dark Ruler...
No negates for you, or no monster effects for you, no monster effects for you, no back row for you.
Yeah, so these two won me 2 games today, so look, pretty self-explanatory. And
Dark Ruler's making a comeback. It's
and
I used to not play for ages.
But it is just good. Also, you don't necessarily need to have OTK your opponent.
No.
All you have to do is, what you do with Dark Ruler is you just set up your board, break their board, and by the time it's their turn, you already have a board, so it doesn't really matter. Tree Nibiru's, so it's if your opponent makes you go second.
Yeah.
And
if you win and you are going second for sure.
Yeah, so basically
that's all going second.
So Tree D barriers.
Now we're in the going first.
Yeah, Tree going first, and Tree D barriers. 1 goals a match and 1 Tikaboo. So goals a match, pretty self-explanatory. You play water, so it does not affect you at all. Tikaboo, it does hurt you a little bit, but you're playing all your water monsters.
Aquas.
Huh?
They're all aquas.
No. So all my water monsters are different types.
Oh, okay, cool.
So for example, my Revealer is a spellcaster. My Georgius is a beast warrior.
Oh, okay,
So basically,
it will hurt them a lot more than it will hurt you.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does stop you a little bit, but overall, the effect is so devastating. The payoff is well worth it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. All right.
So
what are your matchups?
So my first matchup was actually a zombie control deck, and I haven't seen those in a while. But
that could be a pain for you, though.
Yeah, it was a pain, and it put up a lot more of a fight than I expected to. I mean, I still won, but it was a lot more difficult than I expected to be. Then I was up against Yubel, not Fiendsmith, Yubel. I probably would have lost that match if it was Fiendsmith, Yubel. Then I was up against Tempai Dragon, and after that it was Melodious, and my final round I was up against Tempai Dragon again.
Lots Tempai.
Yeah,
Lots
2 Tempais. But for the Tempai Dragons, well, mostly I think it was probably the dice roll.
You're lucky you dodged shifters, I guess.
Yeah, well, actually, funny enough, I did get shifted a few times today, but it was just in the fact that the deck that I have, you could play through shifter. Now, shifter does hurt you, but you could still set up an okay board while with shifter. So, and also, all the guys that shifted me today, they were Tempai players, so they, with the board that I had, they couldn't break through it because because
they also get hurt by it.
Basically.
They're working on the same Tikaboo logic as you.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, Tikaboo did win me against the Tempai players.
Nice. So any shoutouts?
Shout out to all the good players that are in. Shout out to all the good players today that
are in the OTS.
Yeah, in the OTS championship today, so that I could get first place. And shout out to the Dice Gods for making me for actually being able to get me all the good rolls.
So nice.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much.
Cheers.